Welcome to the Port of Tyne's Health, Safety and Environmental Induction video for contractors, visitors and tenants. This induction covers the general health, safety and environment rules for the whole Port of Tyne estate. There are other areas which require specific inductions in addition to this core induction. These are container terminal, warehouses, international passenger terminal, rail system and the wood pellet facility, which requires a specific face-to-face induction. We are all responsible for safety. The Port Golden Rules are support, comply and intervene. We expect everyone to support each other, comply with all rules and procedures and intervene if you see something wrong. When arriving on site, you must report to the security gate where you'll be issued with the relevant personal and vehicle pass for the access required. Whilst on site, you must still follow the rules of the road. This includes wearing seat belts and not using mobile phones when driving. Please note, the Jarrow Road gate is only open from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. When on site, you'll need to report to the reception or supervision area of your destination. The Port of Tyne operates under the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, known as ISPS, so make sure that your badge is always worn and visible at all times. Vehicle passes also need to be clearly displayed, and vehicle searches may be conducted while on site at any time. The Port of Tyne has a strict 20 mph speed limit. Regular speed checks are carried out, and if caught speeding, you can be removed from site. You should note that it is a requirement to reverse park in car parks across the port estate. Permits are required for all works which are not within a self-contained site. If a permit is required, it must be signed off at the start of each day and end of each shift. Additional permits may be required for high-risk activities, such as hot works, electrical works, confined spaces, excavation and isolation. Private vehicles are not allowed on quayside, and all vehicles must have their beacons or hazard warning lights illuminated in operational areas. Ensure you obey the signals at the level crossing. If the lights are flashing or the barriers are dropping, do not attempt to cross. Access to the rail lines is not permitted unless you've received personal track safety training, have correct PPE and have signed in at the rail cabin. When walking, follow the designated walkways, use pedestrian crossings at all times and do not stray into operational areas. Smoking, e-cigarettes and vaping are only permitted in designated areas, and by law no smoking is permitted in company vehicles. Anyone in possession or found under the influence of drugs or alcohol will be removed from site and their employer will be informed. The Port of Tyne has clearly visible safety signs and signals throughout the port, and these must be adhered to. These signs fall into 4 categories: prohibition signs, mandatory signs, safe condition signs and warning signs. When working, all work areas must be segregated from port operations. If you're working at height, make sure you have properly planned the work. You must have risk assessments and method statements and that you're using suitable equipment. Ladders are only permitted for short duration, light work. Mobile elevated working platforms, or MUPs, must be operated by those who are trained and competent. Also, if you're bringing electrical equipment on site, it must be PAT tested, safe and be able to work on 110 volts or battery power. All contractors anywhere on site must wear the necessary personal protective equipment relevant to their specific area of working. Usually, hard hats, high-vis clothing, safety footwear and safety glasses are required for all operational areas. More information can be gained from your Port of Tyne contact. If you are within 2 meters of an unprotected quay edge, a life jacket must be worn. First aiders and first aid boxes are available in all areas. Defibrillators can be found in all operational areas and all injuries must be reported to your Port of Tyne contact. Where fire is concerned, Prevention is better than cure. To prevent fire, please limit the amount of combustibles on site and avoid introducing sources of ignition. If you discover a fire while on site, raise the alarm by the best means possible, call 999 and notify security so they can direct the emergency services on arrival. If it's safe to do so and you're competent, you may tackle a small fire with one extinguisher only. If you hear the fire alarm, evacuate to the assembly point and wait for instructions. Contractors, when on site, must provide their own waste facilities. Rubbish must not be placed into the Port of Tyne skips or bins and must not be burned on site. All waste, during and on completion of the contract, must be removed from site by a licensed carrier and taken to a site permitted to receive it. Copies of the waste transfer notes are to be provided to the Port of Tyne. Should a fuel or oil spillage happen, it must be reported to your Port of Tyne contact immediately. If it enters the drainage system, Port of Tyne VTS should be notified. Thank you for watching this video. Should you have any questions, please speak to your Port of Tyne contact.